I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Monday.
Quick, there's been an MTG sighting. What do you think she's doing next?
Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning says, Trump says he refused to return her barrage of phone calls.
That is funny.
That's funny. Fox News reporting President Donald Trump once again called Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor on Saturday as he reacted to her resignation announcement, adding that she went bad after he refused to return her never-ending barrage of phone calls. In a Saturday morning post on Truth Social, Trump said Marjorie traitor Brown because of plummeting poll numbers and not wanting to face a primary challenge with a strong Trump endorsement where she would have no chance of winning, has decided to call it quits. Her relationship with the worst Republican congressman in decades, Tom Massey of Kentucky, also known as Rand Paul Jr., because he votes against the Republican Party, and really good legislation, did not help her. The president continued, for some reason, primarily that I refused to return her never-ending barrage of phone calls. Marjorie went bad. Nevertheless, I will always appreciate Marjorie and thank her for her service to our country.
It's like she's milk. She's
well,
spoiled.
he said Green went bad to
yeah,
Brown.
It went
That's
bad.
why he calls her Brown.
It's like milk. She is spoiled. Past the expiration date.
Trump later was asked by a reporter if he was willing to forgive Green. Forgive for what? No. I just disagreed with her philosophy. She started backing perhaps the worst Republican congressman in our history. Just, a stupid person named Massey. And I said, go your own way. And once I left her, she resigned because she would never have survived a primary. But I think she's a nice person. Green had announced her resignation late Friday, 1 week after Trump publicly pulled his endorsement of the outspoken Georgia lawmaker. What do you think?
It's kind of funny he says, but she's a nice person at the end. It's kind of like when older Southern people say, well, bless his heart. Same thing. That's what it was. That was Trump's version of bless his heart.
But do you remember the good old days, Bill, of Lauren Boebert and MTG shouting down, was it Joe Biden?
Yeah. I'm not sure that'd be good old days. I'm just surprised that this has turned, given Marjorie Taylor Greene's profile and given all the things and all the causes she was involved in, to now be walking away, and especially, the idea that she said that, in her speech and when she was leaving, that neither party is really interested in fixing your problems and nobody wants to really fix this. The broken is the system, and that's what it's supposed to be. That's interesting. That I'm not expecting that from her, given that she started with conspiracy theories. That was kind of one of her things when her rise to prominence, that she believed all sorts of things were going on behind the scenes that were untoward, and now it's just weird. This is a really weird evolution. I did not see this. If we would have started a book series like Hunger Games, this is not what I would have thought this version of the novel would have gone to. Like, what is it? Volume 3 or 4? This is an interesting one.
Well, Boebert and Green had gotten into a battle on the House floor in June of 2023, which Green called Boebert a little bee, and not the bee that buzzes around.
No, not at all.
And accused her of copying articles of impeachment. The confrontation followed a disagreement over Biden impeachment articles and was a notable example of the growing public rivalry between the two conservative members of Congress. It seems like MTG just has a series of broken relationships all around. I mean, Lauren Boebert disagreed with the Trump administration on the release of the Epstein files, but seemed to get through that okay.
After she was summoned.
Summoned, yeah.
Summoned. Maybe that was it.
So, oh my goodness, what does this mean for MTG? Is she just another example of a homeless politician? No party, she's going to disappear. You'll get a few pops on MSNBC, but you'll stop hearing about her. Or will she revamp her career in another way and find another way to serve in politics? Give us a call. Join the conversation, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-820-1041. 819-5115. Now it's time for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Hey, good Monday morning, 42 and sunny. As you listen to Jeff and Bill here in Denver, expecting a high of 57 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, Trailblazers head coach and Basketball Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups, Denver native, has pleaded not guilty in his federal case involving rigged poker games. Billups appeared in a New York federal court this morning. He's accused of using his well-known name to lure players into rigged poker game tables and then cheat those players by using X-ray machines and tampered shuffling machines. The games were allegedly paid for by the mafia. Billups is charged with fraud and money laundering conspiracy. Huge travel week starting today in Colorado and across the country.
AAA estimates that nearly 82 million people will be traveling over the holidays, which is up 2% from last year. The FAA says it's expecting the busiest Thanksgiving travel season in 15 years as airlines get up and running again after the shutdown. Tuesday is shaping up to be the peak travel day with more than 52,000 flights taking to the sky. I'm Michael Kastner.
So take your time and be safe out there. And don't forget Peter and Billy with the big parade coverage on Wednesday. As I see Chevy Chase looking at the blonde in the convertible right now.
Oh, yeah, Christy Brinkley. Yep.
Yes, Christy Brinkley.
Again, I know that, and I can't do long division. It's ridiculous.
Same here. I forget it was Christy Brinkley. That's funny. That's just a great excuse to play that song.
Oh, absolutely.
Every year. Now we've done it 2 years now, so I have to play it. And the next holiday as well. All right, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says a tremendous amount of progress has been made during the talks to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. Rubio added, however, that negotiators would need more time. A new proposal aimed to address the spike in health care costs driven by expiring ACA subsidies expected to be rolled out by DJT. Those Obamacare subsidies are due to expire at the end of the year, and the administration is looking to head off spike premiums. And this was just a few minutes ago. Let me see if I can pull it up.
They want the exact opposite, with the biggest increase of healthcare in any country. It's a disaster. And I'm calling today for insurance companies not to be paid, but for the money, this massive amount of money, to be paid directly to the people of our country so that they can buy their own health care, which will be far better and far less expensive than the disaster known as Obamacare.
And as Jeff and Billy were talking about, a special election date to fill Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat is set to be decided by Georgia Governor Brian Kemp. The Republican surprised many when she announced on Friday that she'll be resigning from her seat on January 5th. New York City Mayor-elect Kami Donnie met with DJT on Friday, of course, and still says he's a fascist. Kami Donnie made the comment during an interview with NBC's Meet the Press on Sunday. Candace Owens on X last night says that she has told the federal government and the White House of the French and Israeli assassination plot on her, and she's willing to provide full details as well as the name of the assassins and international accounts in France and Canada through which money was exchanged. She thanked everyone for reaching out and praying for her family. French government hates her because she is exposing the real story of Brigitte Macron.
Blake, do you think that Brigitte's a male?
Yes.
Really?
You don't think so?
No.
I think most people in France know she is. or he is. What? Even if she is, or whatever, if she's a woman, go back and look at the history, man. She was his teacher, when he was a young teenager.
Yeah, I know that's creepy, but a dude? Really?
Yes,
That's
I do.
I don't
makes
think
you
so.
now? How do you draw that conclusion based on what?
France.
But what?
It's French.
No, but I'm wondering, and I'm curious as to where that she's a dude, because we have the name that is supposed to be hers is that of her brothers. We have pictures of her brother as a child, and you know what else we have? Pictures of her as a child. How is she a dude if we have pictures of her as a child, and there are thousands of them under the age of 18? How is she a dude if we have pictures of her as a child? Either someone has a time machine, or this is some sort of a long conspiracy plot hatched decades ago to eventually get a dude married to the guy running France. So help me understand that one.
There are holes in the story. That's the best way I can.
Here's the thing.
I mean,
think
if we have
pictures,
an hour.
If we have pictures of her as a child and she's a girl, she's not a guy. Not now, not then. That's the problem.
Didn't she have 3 children from her first marriage? How do you guys explain that?
I don't know if that happens on
I
me.
don't know.
That's the thing is we have pictures of her before this alleged change. We have pictures of her as a girl. So there's nothing here. This is nothing more than Candace Owens again just reaching at straws.
I think you guys need to do an hour on it this week.
I have spent more than an hour going down this rabbit hole.
Sorry, I can't listen to Candace Owens. I get a headache.
The thing for me is
like
I've chased this down a rabbit
conspiracy theories on ADHD. It jumps around so much that I can't follow where the original thought was anymore, and it gives me a headache.
Yeah, the thing for me is that with this conspiracy theory, I went and I looked, and I have spent several hours looking at this. And the thing that is probably the easiest thing to digest, and I'll come back to it again, to disprove this conspiracy theory is we have pictures of her as a little girl. If the idea is she was a girl and then transformed into a dude, or was a dude that transformed into a girl, we wouldn't have pictures of her as a child that is a girl. It just wouldn't exist. So that's the problem. That's where this entire thing falls apart, is if she was a guy that transitioned into a girl, we would have no pictures of her in her childhood.
What is the there's a
problem.
court case, right?
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. And Candace says that she can prove it. And the idea is, and there have already been 1 or 2 court cases in France that she has won already of people accusing her of being a guy. So she's won in court twice. So she's got another one showing up. But again, if she transitioned from a dude to a guy, we wouldn't have pictures of her as a little girl. It just wouldn't hold. There's no way in the timeline that those could exist. There's no way those pictures of her as a little girl could exist contemporaneously.
We're just debating
if she was a dude.
all the hot stuff. Blake, do you want to respond to this?
No, I'll try to come back with something tomorrow.
Okay.
I mean, it takes so long, but she's not very convincing as a woman. I'm sorry, she's just not. I mean, if you talk to anyone from France, they'll look at you and say, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah, I'd say go today. Google Marina Shafir.
Okay.
She's a
Marina
former
Shafir.
Yep, she's a former UFC fighter that's now in the WWE or now in AEW. She's a professional wrestler.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I've
Again,
heard her name. Yeah.
she looks fairly masculine. Not a dude. Not a dude. So the idea of she doesn't look very feminine. Disagree
I
with
just
that.
find it a little weird that like these kind of conspiracy theories that Michelle Obama never had kids. Like, where are these kids coming from? Brigitte Macron had 3 kids.
I know where her kids came from.
Where?
I'll send you a text later.
All right. I'm like, really? Like the conspiracy theories that the conservatives are embracing is that the ladies out there are actually dudes and that the babies just popped up somewhere. It's just weird to me. I don't know, man.
It's fun. I think you should do. I think you should do an hour on it, at least.
Hey, you want to do that tomorrow? It's Tuesday. It's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
Absolutely, man.
All right, I'm gonna let you and Billy just go at it because I'm sitting here being like, I don't know.
mean, honestly, it takes for hours, but it could take hours. But I'll try to come up with something tomorrow.
All right, what hour do we want to do? I'll tell everybody about it. Let's do an hour.
8 o'clock.
Oh, no,
hour.
this is a homework. I got stuff I got to do today. We'll see if I've got enough. I'll see, but yeah, we can go ahead and do it. Yeah, we can go if we want. Okay.
All right, you want to do the 8 o'clock hour? Is that what you said? The 8 o'clock hour?
I'll try to find some things.
All right, 8 o'clock tomorrow. Is Brigitte Macron a man?
I love it.
All right, we're throwing it out there. We'll get all that because the calls on Tina Peters were hot today.
Yeah.
Good night. Might as well just dive into everything.
You might as well.
Hottest debates.
Absolutely. All right, to the real important stuff, the Avalanche in Chicago on Sunday.
In Nashville, goofy turnover, Nielsen holds and looks and shoots, saved by Knight, shot by McCarr, he scores! Cale McCarr! What an incredible shot off the post and in!
Nice. 1-0. Colorado, 9 straight victories. Scott Wedgwood with his first shutout, 22 saves. And Shedeur Sanders wins his first game as a starting quarterback in the NFL against the Raiders. They are horrible, so are the Browns, but Shedeur wins his first. He's 1-0 as a starting quarterback. There have only been 45 starting quarterbacks since 1994 for the Cleveland Browns. 39 in Boulder.
Real quick, Blake, we have a breaking conspiracy theory that you are not actually Blake Olson. This is texted from 2983.
That may be true also. I don't know. 293.
Yeah.
Let's see. We need a nickname for 293. Let's call 293 Candace.
2983.
2983.
Jason in Denver texted in, if the Israeli government really wanted to kill Owen, she would have zero clue about it.
Hey, I'm actually Barney. You didn't know that, but I'm Barney. That's who I want to be. I want to be Barney. The 40 in Inglewood, 42 in Denver. Love you, Barney. You're waking up with Jeff and Billy. It's Monday morning. Thanksgiving week. Let's go. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Partly cloudy skies, pretty comfortable temperatures in the 50s today, lows tonight in the upper 20s. Sunny to start Tuesday, a little bit breezy, increasing clouds in the afternoon. Temperatures tomorrow will be colder. Highs will be in the lower 40s, brisk north winds. Lows tomorrow night colder, low to mid 20s. Partly cloudy Wednesday, highs 45 to 50 degrees, 20s and 30s Wednesday night. Thanksgiving Day, mild, will be in the 50s. Same for Friday, although turning colder Friday night and much colder by the weekend. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Trump's had enough. Marjorie Taylor Greene says she resigned because he refused to return a barrage of phone calls. I think she's done, Bill.
Yeah, you think so?
I don't think she reemerges.
Yeah.
In part because I see the same frustration I saw with Ken Buck, where the process becomes so frustrating. Like if you look at her reasoning for resigning, it's around the what she calls the political industrial complex, right? And it's just this like, what am I doing here? You see it out of like Rose Puglisi kind of resigned the same way.
I can see that.
Not because she lost support of Trump or anything like that, but she was sitting there at the state capitol going, my God, I have only so many years of my life. What am I doing dealing with these people? Like I've got kids, I've got other stuff I want to do. And that's a real thing for people in politics because it is very time consuming. It's a brutal blood sport. And if you lose the ability to advance the causes that you're interested in, you're just kind of like twiddling your thumbs. That's why I think there's 3 levels of political engagement that people have to pick what they're going to do. And if you're not in one of those 3, I think you're spinning. One is just pure constituent work. This is where I think My wife is. She serves on the school board. She just loves to help people. This public leadership becomes a place of just real fulfillment for her because she likes to meet with people, sit in a committee meeting, listen to their concerns, and figure out a way to help them. It makes her very happy. So you'll put up with all the crap around politics in order to do that because it makes you happy. Number two is finding some level of really high-level political leadership. This is where Jason Crow is, right? Like traveling around. I am going to be at the top of the political pyramid. And constituent work, that's for somebody else to do. I've got a trip to Arizona. I've got a trip to Rhode Island. You saw this. He's like flying around doing all the fundraising stuff. And if you're good at fundraising, you become the Nancy Pelosi's, the Hakeem Jeffries. You're famous everywhere you go. That becomes a world for you. Marjorie, I think, was in that world, and it's been taken away from her, so she doesn't have it anymore. And then third, which is where I would probably find myself if I ever ran for office, is just trying to quietly advance a cause that I care a lot in, like the sanctity of life. I think of like the William Wilberforces of the world who ended the slave trade, right? Like, yeah, constituent work was a part of his work, but he became known as spending decades quietly advancing causes behind the scenes that he felt passionate about. I don't see that with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I know some lawmakers, Joe Pitts was one of them, really cared about human trafficking and just used his committee assignments and just quietly worked behind the scenes. He was very happy doing that. So I didn't see Ken Buck fall into any of those categories. I don't see Marjorie Taylor Greene, and so I think she's just done. I think she's just going to go and do something else with her life. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, I think that she still is going to run at some point inside of Georgia, but on a state office level. I don't think she's going to try to go national. Governor, something like that, I think is where she's going to shoot for. And it was only once this weekend when I remembered that it's Kemp that's Georgia's governor right now. And he's had some very public arguments with Donald Trump. And so have some other elected leaders out of Georgia. In fact, I think it's 2 of the people out of 6 that are running for governor right now in the primary for the Republicans in 2026 are people that have had public spats with Donald Trump. And that would be Raffensperger and Carr. And so there are some really interesting names inside there that leads me to believe on a state level, picking a fight with Trump actually could help your bona fides inside of the state. And what I'm looking at again is things like Kemp, things like other people that are elected there. They don't seem to be super MAGA on that level.
Yeah, but there's like a level of competency with Kemp that I don't see with MTG. I don't know.
Oh, I'm not going to argue competency at all with it. MTG, you're going to win on that one. Yeah.
This is the thing that, like, you have to give to Lauren Boebert is, yeah, she can get in those very public battles, right? But she runs a really good congressional office. Like, she's got a good chief of staff. She delivers for people. So, like, she's not an MTG that just tweets out stuff, but then doesn't actually run a competent office. I mean, I just don't know. But
yeah, I don't know what her office is like at all.
I haven't seen great legislation come out of her office, good constituent care. I don't know. But I think with Kemp, you have a statesman-like management of politics that you don't have with MTG. She just seemed kind of like a firebrand.
Oh, yeah, she does seem like a firebrand. But given some of the other people that, again, what I find interesting is, Kemp crossing swords with Trump, Raffensperger, Chris Carr, former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan. There's a series of them that have had public confrontations with Trump, and it hasn't hurt them inside of the state. That's why I think, that's the only reason why I think that Marjorie might be playing for a state office, not in 26, but in 2028. I'm just guessing that I did a little bit of a Google search this weekend, and I think it was 6. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was 5 or 6 candidates have already declared on the Republican side of things. That seems to be way too crowded for Marjorie Taylor Greene to come in this late. So my guess is she sits down, she watches, and she starts to put together a political machine, and part of it is going to be people that she likes in this cycle. People that ran successful campaigns in this cycle, she'll try to, this is just, if I'm doing the strategy, I'm going to siphon them off and bring them into my Marjorie Taylor Greene political machine and ramp up for 28. That's where I would be shooting for whatever she's looking for. Now, not going to be a governor election at that time, but there may be something else there. I'm not certain she can wait until 30, which would technically be, I think it's 4 years for governor in Georgia. That would be the next time because they have off-year elections for governor, I think. So I think that would be 30 the next time she could run for the governor's mansion. So I'm not certain she can wait that long. She's got to do something between now and then. I think 26 is too quick. I think 28 is her target to create some sort of a statewide presence. But so far, I think Georgia voters, at least in part, do reward statewide conservatives that go at times against Trump.
Interesting perspective. Join the conversation by giving us a call at 303-696-1971 or texting us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Let's talk advanced hair restoration. Look, for guys, for many of us, it's happening. Your hair might be thinning, your crown disappearing. Maybe hair loss has you feeling your identity's lost altogether. Well, I got some great news for you. It's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what if what you want is your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to world-class Dr. Tanya Pauls, it's not maybe your hair will regrow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's why Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver. So for your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR, 720-459-HAIR, advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com. Bill, I think part of the conversation here is Marjorie Taylor Greene out, resigns. Kyle Clark talking about the brilliance of Lauren Boebert. Isn't this interesting?
Oh, yeah, this is a weird one.
Like, Kyle Clark went on CityCast the other day and said, we have the Epstein files out because of Lauren Boebert.
Yeah, in many ways, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Which is interesting coming from Kyle.
And so, she stands strong. And he was even joking, everyone's going to take credit for releasing the Epstein files, which is true if you watch Crow and Pedersen and Hickenlooper and Bennett and all that stuff. But it comes down to her. Think about the races she survived in Congressional District 3, winning sometimes by 500 votes, right? Moves districts, wins a very crowded primary, has her own challenges with the administration, gets called into the Situation Rooms, comes out through all this smelling like a rose.
Yeah, she's navigated it very, very well. And I'm curious, the interesting thing is why Marjorie Taylor Greene decided to break with the Trump administration on this. That's the part that I can't figure out, because there were so many other things that earlier in her career she was so lockstep in line with. And I'm curious. And the other part is, and this is just spitballing here between you and I and the listeners, I'm wondering how the experience going from the Trump administration into the Biden administration back into the Trump administration changed her opinion. And what I mean by that is Greene came in as a newbie with Trump and was kind of wide-eyed, and then by the time she saw things happen inside the Biden administration, then when things started happening in the Trump administration, did she actually come to the conclusion, in some ways like you and I have talked about, that job preservation inside of Congress is built upon not getting anything done? because then you get to go back to the constituents and say, I have more work to do. I'm fighting as hard as I can for you.
If you only give me
Yes.
one more
Yep,
chance.
exactly. And so is that where she came to? Is that the conclusion she eventually got to? Is that I could sit here, but the rest of the people around me aren't actually interested in getting any of these things done, even if you agree or disagree with them. That doesn't really matter. The point is, don't do anything. Not Republican versus Democrat. It's just don't do anything. And in part, the Epstein files. We were told for months and months and months, oh, God, do these things. We got to have meetings, and we're going to do these votes and things, not just around Epstein files, but it's votes. It's got to go to committee. It's got to have these hearings. Then we got to have a testimony. They got to debate it. Epstein files all of a sudden hits, and it's like bang, 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 bang. All of a sudden, whoa, hang on. We got everybody together, and everybody voted, and we ran like 48 hours, and everything got through. So what it's telling the average voter and possibly someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene is that when Congress wants to, it can get something done. But most of the time, it just doesn't want to.
Give us a call and join the conversation. 303-696-1971. Text us at 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Bill, we got a new sponsor of the Jeff and Bill Show. I'm proudly wearing their shirts today. The Gun Room here in Lakewood.
Oh, awesome.
This place is old school. This place is legit. They've been around since 1982. And you know, I love being out with the gun range and enjoying my time out there. So I take gun responsibility very, very seriously. And that's why I trust the Gun Room. These folks are Colorado people. They know firearms. They know safety. And they take the time to walk you through what's right for you. So whether you're new to shooting or looking to expand your collection or want expert guidance from people who actually care, the Gun Room is the place. I went and talked to Wayne, and here's one of the things he prides himself on, Bill, is that oftentimes if you walk into a gun shop, they expect you to know what a 440 or 320 or a Glock. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, and if you're kind of a newbie to it, you can feel overwhelmed. You're like, I don't know what the difference between all this stuff is. Why do you make me feel like I'm not smart? Not the case with the Gun Room. In fact, they pride themselves on helping people who are new to gun ownership go through the entire process, learn what's best for them, and be a true friend for you in the process. Ladies, with the holidays coming up, I'm going to make this really easy for you. If you've been wondering what to get your husband, dad, or the outdoorsman in your life, check out a gift card from the Gun Room. It's a home run. Trust me on this one. Stop in, browse their selection of new and used firearms, or just ask a few questions. They love helping people. Give them a call. They'll pick up the phone and talk you through anything. Here's their phone number, 303-237-1300, 303-237-1300. It's the Gun Room in Lakewood. Check them out at denvergunroom.com, denvergunroom.com. Be sure to tell them Jeff sent you. That is a really cool place, man. I could just hang out there all day and look at the old antique firearms. Dueling pistols from the 1700s.
Again, I think you're
so cool.
offering a suggestion here. I'm uncomfortable with it just in general.
It's eventually going to get that way.
That's what I'm worried about.
I'm going to take a glove off and slap you across the face.
Only if it's a white glove. just to make it all in. Yes. Oh, my God.
Mr. Thorpe, my wife came across this audio when she was in a planning commission meeting in Elbert County. Listen to this.
Currently forecasting that by 2047, there will be more deaths than births within the state of Colorado. And at that point, population decline will happen just simply by this aging factor, by more deaths than births happening. The only way that Colorado is going to continue to grow is if there is people moving in to make up for that. And then growth needs to come by the overcoming that even more.
Whoa. I saw a similar post that said something to the effect of 30 years ago, or in 1970, actually, 1970, that 90% of women by the age of 30 were married. Today, it's 30%.
Yeah. Then again, though, our society, though, in some ways has, I would just say, extended adolescence as far as that time in which you are launching and leaving the nest from your parents. So I believe that we have somewhat artificially extended that versus where it was, like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Some of that being college, some of that just being economics, that, you know, the kids can't move out of the house as soon and establish themselves. So I think that's part of why it's being delayed. But another one, I think, is also how our society is structured. It is, at this point, in Colorado and beyond, in my opinion, difficult to launch your family in your 20s. And right now, it makes a lot more sense to be looking at that in your 30s or late 30s. And I think that comes with a whole lot of caveats and a whole lot of problems that are contained therein. But I think that's how our society is structured, because from what I've seen, most of the time, those that are working in their 20s and early 30s, that's the grind era, where you're not going to be making a lot of money. You're going to be working a lot of hours. And one of the things that you really can't, and I'm using in air quotes, afford is a child, because we now are dual income earner households, and that brings on a burden of childcare. I've got a friend of the family who is going through that right now, where her adult daughter has had her first child, wonderful, wonderful family, and she's struggling with going back to work because, again, it's the new mom syndrome, but she's sitting here going, I'm pulling this paycheck, and somewhere around 80% of it is just going to pay the childcare bill. And she looks at that going, is this what we need to do? And she has to balance that out through, if they went on a one income, they couldn't make it. So not only is she having stress about paying for childcare, they're looking at picking up second jobs in order to help pay for the childcare that the kid they just had. And so that's kind of how we've structured things. So our society is telling you, don't get married, don't have kids.
Correct. And that's because it doesn't make the family a priority anymore. So at the center of a conservative worldview is the family, even more so than the individual. Okay. The center of the experience of a human being's life is centered around family, around marriage, around child rearing, all that. And you don't see that with the progressive worldview. In fact, the great celebration coming from the progressive worldview is that the government now provides that service for you. So you saw this in this last election. We feed 600,000 kids here in Colorado, or 60,000. 60,000, no, 600,000. 600,000 kids in Colorado. The state does that now. We do it. We provide your health care. We provide your education. We provide your housing. We provide your jobs. We now provide your food. The state becomes the focus in a progressive worldview and the endpoint of where all your resources and services are going to come from. You don't see work coming from Democrats to strengthen the family. In fact, you see the exact opposite. They're going to step in between you and the parents and the kids in education. We get to have unlimited counseling meetings without the parent. We get to choose the books that your kids read, not you. So everything that progressives do is to weaken the family, break that down. The sexual revolution was a part of that as well, where you took sex away from child rearing, and the state becomes the savior. That's what Colorado has become. And at the end of that road, Mr. Thorpe, is death.
Yeah, see, I would agree with you if I saw conservatives moving to make sure that these families had a living wage and could pay their rent. I would get with you if I saw conservatives moving towards making sure that childcare was affordable, moving towards making sure that families had paid time off, moving towards the issue of medical care with younger kids. But
you want the state in all this.
No.
You want the state to step into every single one of those issues that you want, as you listed right there. The state has to step in to do it.
Here's the thing. The state has to step in to tell us that there are rules and regulations to not murder each other. That's part of it. The state sets some of those guidelines. There are conservative states and there are liberal states. I'm not saying that the state has to solve all the problems. I am looking towards conservatives to say, where are you talking about the wages, the child care, the time off, the medical care? It seems to me to be that we go back to the whole bootstrappy thing, that this is something that is on the individual, and that's it, and that's fine.
Correct.
But
and
then,
your family.
Then don't complain, which based on that bootstrappiness, the people have decided that the economics, we are going to delay marriage and delay having families, because that's what I'm talking about. That's the system we have set up. If you want to advocate for more time off for new families, go right ahead. Advocate for that, but I don't see that.
I advocate for single income earners in a family. I think you should live below your means, have one person that brings in the money, and somebody should stay home for the most part. If you want to work part-time, that doesn't bother me. But no, I do not think it's good for society to have both parents working full-time and children raised in daycare.
Yeah, but then we'd have to do something about, wages, childcare, stuff like that. Something would have to be done.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, we're like the first generation to deal with that.
Well, here's the thing.
It wasn't an issue prior.
We are the first generation where dual income is necessarily mandatory because it wasn't prior to.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Part of that is because we started having dual income earners, and then everything else around it became more expensive. Things like housing and everything else based on the demand, because the demand cycle will find the top end pressure point of what the market can bear. And that's what we've had, and that's what we've seen. So the idea of going back to a single earner and being able to afford a home will not happen unless you raise that single earner's wages. It's just not going to happen.
Or just live below your means.
But you can't
live a simpler life.
How? Because right
really?
now,
you don't think a part of the problems with our society is that we eat out too much, for instance, or want too nice of cars or stuff like that?
I don't believe that the individuals that are trying to start a family and trying to save for a house are the ones that have the super expensive cars or eating out every week. I don't think that's it. I think it has to do with the balance and the percentage that they have to pay for, based on rent and everything else, and the percentages are off. You can't carve off 10, 20, or 30% of your income anymore and save it. It's nearly impossible, especially 30% if you're trying to get to a 20% down payment. And you can't, and that's part of the problem. And that's part of the issue here. And then you have an issue is what your threshold is for income, because again, average house in Colorado is right around $500,000. So you're going to have to, as a household, earn $120,000 plus in order to get to it.
Don't you see the doom loop? Don't you see the socialist doom loop? Colorado's more progressive, higher taxed, and provides more services than ever. We can't live without the government providing the services. They have to step in to tax others to do it. Colorado at one point was a free state.
Here's the thing. Our tax rates were much different under the 50s, in which we were considered to be somewhat of a more conservative country. Yet the tax rates were much out of whack. We wouldn't even vote for the tax rates we had back then, and that was a time in which we talk about people having the most upward mobility, people having somewhat of economic equality.
Why do you blame the tax rate for that? Because I actually think it was the lack of government services that were provided. I don't know. We got to get to a break here. We'll continue the discussion on the other side. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Well, Billy, it's been quite a show. People thought that Thanksgiving week would be quiet on the Jeff and Bill show. Nope.
No, not at all.
We had Matt Crane in debating Tina Peters. If you missed any of it, go to 710knus.com to download the podcast. And I guess tomorrow we're debating Macron's wife. She's a dude. All right, you're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. Good luck on Monday.